Hi, I'm Eric Lanask. We're here at Editor's Day in Santa Clara. Joining me now is Todd Scallon from Axcient. Todd, thanks for joining me. Great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So, Axcient, tell me about the company.
Yeah, so Axcient, we are really the world's first business recovery cloud, is what we call it. And the whole idea is to serve the small and medium business market segment, folks who otherwise could not afford enterprise class business resiliency and recovery. And so we provide a cloud service that enables these businesses to not skip a beat in the face of any sort of outage. It could be lost server, lost data, or lost the entire office.
Well, certainly the story there is not unfamiliar. Cloud has certainly enabled the SMB market to enjoy a lot of traditionally enterprise capabilities that they had in the past. So certainly part of a strong major trend there. I think there's certainly a few others that probably claim to play in this space. What differentiates you?
Yeah, so firstly, we really took an approach of building the platform from the ground up. So as compared to other companies who will have aggregated the third-party products to deliver this type of service, we actually took a step back and said, let's look at it from the perspective of not backup but from recovery, build a platform that enables very rapid replication of your environment to the cloud, and then provide a variety of recovery methods from the cloud. And in fact, we actually, we have patents on these capabilities. The idea, for instance, of instantiating a virtual office through a very simple user experience, what we call powerfully simple, single click, boom, virtualize all your servers, your network, user access, provision resources, all on the fly. And the beauty of this is that we can extend this beyond just recovery as a service, but other use cases as well, such as test and dev, business analytics, etc.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, is there a typical customer that you're targeting?
Yeah, so it's SMB,
Yep.
And so that's at the lower end, that's companies with maybe 100 employees.
Okay.
At the upper end, mid-enterprise, a couple thousand employees. So anywhere, say, a handful of servers running on physical boxes to, dozens of physical hosts with themselves dozens of virtual machines, so in the order of a couple hundred servers.
It's interesting. Disaster recovery is in some ways similar to the security paradigm in that a lot of times businesses kind of disregard it until something happens and they need it.
Yeah.
Do you find that's still the case?
We have seen some of that. I think in the earlier days when we got started about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, it was very much an evangelical type of sale for this type of service, and folks didn't quite get it. I think things have progressed considerably since then, but I do remember vividly during Hurricane Sandy where we had customers who had sort of the basic service, let's say, and they were impacted. Their businesses were down, and were calling up, "Hey, can we get the bigger service so we could virtualize our office in the cloud?" And it's a little bit like crashing your car and then calling the insurance company and say, "Can I get a policy now?" It doesn't quite work out that way. So we don't see as much of that now. I think people have progressed in that regard.
I think people are starting to realize that eventually the stories start to take hold, and you realize there's too much at risk. And when you've got we live in sort of an anything as a service world, it becomes much easier to deploy these products and services, and much more cost effective as well. So you sort of eliminate many of the traditional barriers.
Right. Yeah, and we really tried to make it as simple as possible to employ our service. We offer several ways to deploy it, anywhere from an on-premise appliance that then syncs to the cloud, a virtual appliance that does a similar thing, or appliance-less, where it's a simple single-click agent downloads on a device to be protected. Maybe it's a mobile laptop or server, and syncs directly to our cloud. So we tried to make that as streamlined and as simple as possible.
Are you seeing any one of those three deployment models sort of becoming more prevalent than the others?
Yeah, it's a pretty good blend of both. The appliance-less version is a newer something that we came out with earlier in the year, and in fact, we'll be announcing shortly some updates to our platform. Actually, it's big improvements in terms of what we call RPO, recovery point objective, and RTO, recovery time objectives, which pertain to both the appliance list and appliance-based service.
When you talk about some of those improvements, what are the what are the goals, or what kinds of enhancements are you?
Yeah,
creating?
the goals are to really speed up the process. So when we say recovery point objective, allow you to obtain snapshots of your systems, of your business in a more frequent manner, to recover much more rapidly from any point in time snapshot. And in doing so, it's more than just keeping your business productive. It's also these additional use cases like test and dev and so forth that I mentioned earlier,
Sure.
To be able to be very productive in those scenarios. It's also really, we have this philosophy of what we call any-to-any, regardless of whether it's a physical environment, VMware, Hyper-V, Zen, what have you. We can protect any of those and have you restore to any different one, if you like. And so another improvement to the foundational elements of the platform is to more tightly integrate with those environments.
And I imagine there are a number of variables that factor into this, but how long would one typically expect the recovery process to take?
So you can recover, let's say you had a server go out and you need to fail over and get back up and running. It's pretty much the time it takes to boot.
Okay.
So we literally will virtualize that on the fly, the time it takes to boot that server. If you need to, in the cloud, let's say, provision, 20 servers and get everything up and running, network configured and all that, it's on the order of 15 minutes or so. It's pretty much an automated process.
Still fairly, all things considered, a pretty short amount of time to get back up and running.
Yeah, if you compare it to traditional methods that can take hours or days, it's a lifesaver. Yeah.
Got it. How are you getting in front of your customers?
So we primarily go through channel partners. It's a combination of managed service providers and VARs, depending on where in the SMB market segment people fall. They'll either be serviced by MSPs or VARs.
Well, that's another interesting space that seems to be growing fairly rapidly, is the MSP space. With really providers diversifying their portfolios of services.
Yeah, and in fact, we see a lot of VARs who aspire to become MSPs and enjoy some of that recovering services revenue rather than simply hardware and software sales. So they really view our service, they view Axcient as a way to get into that piece of the market opportunity.
Which, of course, helps you in the process.
Yes, absolutely. It's a win-win all around.
Got it. Todd, well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Yep.